Hi, guys, and welcome to our independent science and social studies time. As you can see by the picture, we are going to be doing some science today. We are going to be mixing in some science and social studies throughout this whole unit during our independent time. So that's what I want to talk to you about first. I want to talk to you about our independent time. If you can kind of go back and think about our last unit and what we learned about and our force and motion and how we had different kinds of energy, think about all of those lessons that we had and how they were all self paced and they were all independent. And when we got to the end of doing the independent lessons, you guys got to do some science experiments and some STEM projects. And if you weren't done with your lessons, that's what you did in that time instead of doing the fun activities. So we want to talk to you now about how, as being in the second half of fourth grade, what independent time looks like, what it's used for, and what are some strategies that you can use or others can use around you to make this independent time successful. So, as you're listening to this audio, just be thinking about some of those things and see if you can find out exactly what it is. So, our independent time is the time that's in between morning recess and lunch. And during that time, you will have a self paced science or social studies lesson each day. When you are finished with that lesson, this gives you an opportunity to work on some things independently, whether you are behind in some module work, some math work, you were absent and have some questions that you would like answered, or if you would just like some extra help with things from the teacher, or just spending more time on your Zern or your Amplify or getting things finished. So that time is usually about a total of 45 minutes. Some days you will only have time to complete your science or social studies activity, but other times you will have time to get both things finished and get some extra things done in that time. When we usually get back from recess, that is a time when everyone seems to want to get their water, and then they have to go to the restroom, and then they have to go fill up their water bottle. Well, you got to remember that you only have a 45-minute time. So the longer that you are doing those activities, the less time you have for your science and social studies, which then reflects in your grade. So, what I'm asking, I'm not saying that you cannot be doing your restroom or going to the bathroom or going to get a drink, but let's make this time a wise decision. So, if you need to go to the restroom, it is quick. You go to the restroom, you wash your hands, you come back, and you get straight to work. This should not take you more than 2 minutes. We should not be um, goofing off in the hall, talking to other kids in the class, walking around, getting up every 30 seconds and getting a drink of water. Um, you're allowed to take your water bottles outside for recess. So at that time, that's when you should be really drinking your water. You come back in, you drink, get one more drink, put it down. Now you're working. So we should be able to fairly quickly get a lot of work done by using the restroom wisely. The second thing is by getting our supplies. We already have our Chromebooks in our desk and writing utensils, so sometimes we'll need paper, sometimes we'll definitely need our headphones. So getting those things quickly and not daddling and talking to others in the hallway or in the classroom, that would be helpful because then you can get your work done. When you're done with that, being independent, what does that mean to you? Does that mean that you need to sit by yourself, turn your chair, turn your desk, put your headphones in, whether you are listening to a video or not, so that you can just completely focus? Does that mean that you need to, put up a barrier, maybe your folder or something that you can just be focusing on yourself? Um, This is independent. Independent means by yourself, one on one, just for you. And so you have to do the learning on your own. And then there'll be sometimes when we get to, at the end of our lessons, be able to do group work. But for this time, this is your time to do the studying and the learning that you need at your pace. Some of us move a little bit faster. Some of us need a little bit of extra time, maybe need to watch the video a couple times, and that is okay. And that is your time to do that, because during the rest of all of our lessons, we are constantly on the go and working really hard. So I want you to use this time wisely, making sure you're not sitting next to a friend or playing with things. If you have a pencil in your hand when you're watching the video, if you're scraping it or drawing on the desk, you're probably not fully paying attention to the video or to the words that are being said. So that's another thing that we can watch out for, the distractions around us. Also, one thing that you'll be doing is watching a video, answering questions, watching a video, answering questions. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to answer or look at the questions first so that I know when I'm watching the video exactly what they can be doing. So making sure you have time and really, focusing on what you need and stopping the video and maybe answering questions and then going back is totally fine, but really just using your time wisely today. So what we're going to do today is, now that you're done watching this video, you are going to answer a couple questions about independent work time and what you think it is, what you can be doing, and what others can be doing to make it successful for everybody. And then when you're done answering those questions, then you will watch a science video to infer the topic of our new science unit. And you will also then answer some questions based on that. Remember that a couple things that you need to make sure that you are doing is you are answering all of your responses with the RACE strategy. So you're restating your questions and answer, then you are citing evidence, and you are elaborating. So make sure that you have a full 1 to 2 sentences for each of your answers. And then also making sure that you go back and look and make sure you have cups, that you have capital letters, you're using words correctly, you have punctuation, and you tried your best on your spelling. These are things that fourth graders should be able to do by now without getting a lot of reminders. So that's something that we're going to be looking for when we're looking at your papers. So when you're filling out any of these forms, make sure you're doing that strategy so that it doesn't have to come back to you and get fixed. If you have any questions, let us know. But remember that this is your time. When you're done with your science today, you may get on to Get Epic and read some science books. Usually, we will have some math or reading work for you to complete, but today, let's just go ahead and see if we can get through our science and use our time wisely. Thank you very much. Good luck, and I will see you guys soon.